President Ferdinand A. Marcos began his career in life after the murder of Julio Nolentasan in 1935, and it ended after the death of Benigno Aquino Jr. in 1983. Some believe that his entire life was based on fraud, deceit, and theft, and his time as a president represents one of the prime examples of a corrupt government.
Ferdinand Edrelin Marcos was born on September 11, 1917 in Sarat, a village in Ilocos Norte region in the Philippines. His parents, Josefa Edrelin Marcos and Mariano Marcos, were both teachers from an important families.
Ferdinand Marcos graduated with a law degree from the UP College of Law. Marcos passed the bar exam with the highest score in record. He also wrote an 830-page defense. Many people complained about the results of his bar exam. A retake was taken and a 100% score was given to Marcos. It was the highest score given to a bar degree taker.
Marcos was re-elected twice, and in 1959, he was elected to the Philippine Senate. He was also the Vice President of the Liberal Party from 1954 to 1961 when he successfully managed Justado Macapagal's run for presidency. As a part of their arrangement with Marcos, Macapagal was supposed to step aside after one term to allow Marcos to run for presidency. When Macapagal did not do this, Marcos joined the opposition, the Nationalist Party, and became their candidate in 1965, which he easily won. He was now proclaimed as the President of the Philippines.
Marcos became the first Philippine president to win a second term. However, not all Filipinos were happy with his presidency, and the month following his re-election included the most violent public demonstrations of the history later, facing growing students' protests and a crumbling economy. Marcos declared martial law, a state of emergency in which military authorities are given extraordinary powers. Marcos's excuse for declaring martial law was the growing revolutionary movement of the Communist New People's Army, which opposed his government.
Next 9 years of martial law, Marcos tripled the armed forces to 200,000 troops, guaranteeing his grip on the government. When martial law was lifted in 1981, he kept all the powers he had been granted under the martial law himself. Meanwhile, the economy still continued to crumble, while Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos became one of the richest couples in the world. Marcos helped begun the U.S. support lesson. Opposition to Marcos grew in Philippine
The Marcos regime began to collapse after the August 1983 assassination of Benigno Aquino Jr., who had been known as Marcos' most political rival. Aquino was shot and killed after he arrived at the Manila airport after 3 years of staying in the United States. Killing enraged Filipinos as the authorities claimed that the murder was the work of a single gunman. A year later, a civilian investigation brought charges against a number of soldiers and government officials, but in 1985, none of them were found guilty. Nevertheless, most Filipinos believed that Marcos was involved in Aquino's.
Marcos next called for a snap election in the early of 1986. This election was characterized by violence and charges of fraud. Marcos' opponent, Aquino's widow, Corazon Aquino. When the Philippine National Assembly proclaimed that Marcos was the winner, a rebellion in the Philippine military, supported by hundreds and thousands of Filipinos, marched in the street and urged for Ferdinand and Imelda to flee out of the country.
This is one of the infrastructures constructed during the Marcos regime. It is still being used today for productions and concertos. It is known as the Cultural Center of the Philippines.
The Cultural Center of the Philippines, or simply CCP, is located in Pasay City and City of Manila, Philippines. This was opened in 1969 to promote Filipino arts and culture and to become a mecca of culture and arts in
Since its
Asia.
opening, it has showcased Bolshoi, Kirov, Royal Danish Ballets, as well as some contemporary American, French, German, and Philippine puppets.
It was officially opened on September 8, 1969, starting a 3-month-long inaugural festival. Its opening play was Golden Salapon, Isang Dularawan, an epic portrayal of the beginning of Panay Island.
The center's formal inauguration was attended by a number of international personalities, including California Governor and Mrs. Ronald Reagan, who were representing President Richard Nixon.